People in urban cities are interesting to commute on bikes for easy and healthy lifestyles. They need bikes that can easily fold and take in small space. From London to every part of the world, Brompton has offered new experience of folding bikes to support people in a big city. Brompton bikes are very handy and super light. Brompton handmade bikes fly out of the firm's West London factory every year. They can sell 49,000 bikes and produce British pounds 42.5 million along 12 months to March 2019. Behind that, there is a remarkable success story for a business built from one man's vision. It's Andrew Ritchie. So, let's watch his journey. Cycling began in 1830 with the first ever two-wheeled vehicles, but it took a lot of evolution before bicycle riding became established in the UK. The bicycle hasn't always looked as it does now. The first Bonnescheker velocipedes had one small rear wheel and a larger front wheel, and both were made of wood and metal. The rattle bikes transitioned to penny farthings in 1870, before the safety bicycle, which had two equal-sized wheels, came to be. Then in 1890, Raleigh Bicycle Company, one of the world's best-known bike makers, opens in Nottingham, UK. In the late 1950s, the history of the modern folding bike started really with the invention of the Moulton bike, invented by Sir Alex Moulton, which, although was not a folding bike, paved the way for small-wheel bicycles. Alex Moulton changed traditional cycle design into small wheels with high-pressure tires, would result in less rolling resistance, less inertia, and hence greater acceleration. Classic apartment bikes like the Raleigh 20 adapted from Moulton bikes folded in half, but these bikes didn't decrease the height of folded size. In short, these first-generation folding bikes indeed folded, but didn't really get any smaller. The next step in the evolution of the folding bicycle came with the launch of the Bickerton folding bike in 1971. Harry Bickerton took the principles of small-wheel design pioneered by Moulton and sought to create a compact and light bicycle that was quick to fold and unfold. The machines even came with a pannier bag in which they could be stored when folded, but their bike wasn't only designed for small apartments, but another sort of British problem: train transport. While the lightweight small folded size of the Bickerton was well received, the riding properties of the bicycle needed improving. A young Cambridge University engineering graduate, Andrew Ritchie, took one look at the Bickerton and decided that he could design a better folding bicycle. Andrew Ritchie starts designing a folding bike in his flat at South Kensington, London, 1975. A year later, Ritchie patents the design. All the prototypes were made in Andrew's bedroom in a flat in London overlooking the Brompton Oratory, hence the name Brompton, and he started canvassing industry in search of a license. Andrew's father was an investor in Bickerton, one of the first folding bikes. As an engineer, Andrew thought it was interesting, but that he could do better. Inspiration was taken from the Bickerton. And although the modern Brompton looks a lot different, what unites them is the rear wheel folding back under the bike. In 1977, the first Brompton was born, but these bikes are fairly crude to fold in a tiny package. It was a good step for folding bikes design because there is no one folding bike which has the simplicity of design and ease of use in back of the day. Testament to the original Brompton design is the fact it hasn't changed phenomenally from the first prototypes. Almost every component is different, but the design's still there, and that's how it's achieved its iconic status. While Ritchie set about designing a bike, it was never his plan to manufacture. The idea at the time was to license the design to someone such as Raleigh, which was already well established in bicycle manufacturing. But the manufacturers weren't convinced there was a market or that the idea was scalable. There was plenty of interest, but also plenty of sound reasons for turning the idea down. The search ended in failure. The alternative was for Andrew to start manufacture himself, and this needed money. The search for this venture capital also failed. Faced with skepticism that his design could ever be built as more than an occasional one-off, Ritchie did what any clued-up frame builder looking to get a foothold in the industry would do today. He crowdfunded. Andrew took the idea to friends and explained that he needed to prove it was possible to make 100 of these bikes. He went out to 100 friends and said that if they bought a bike now he would deliver it to them in 6 months' time, and then if the company was successful he would pay them back, so they'd get a free bike. In the end, friends came to the rescue. 30 were persuaded to buy a bicycle in advance, and Andrew undertook to make them. It was a ridiculously low budget, but eventually, some rudimentary tooling was in place, and the 30 bikes duly appeared. Others wanted to buy them, and Andrew, encouraged, decided to start low-volume production, albeit with bare minimum tooling in 1981. Brompton Bicycle was in business. This was fine, but hard work, and without capital the business could break even, but it was difficult to expand. Andrew and his board again went in search of venture capital, in the hope that backers could be found. By then nearly 400 Brompton bicycles had been made and sold. Once again it failed. As it was not worth continuing the pilot production, and there was no money around. This was stopped in 1982. Eventually, at the end of 1986, with contributions from former customers, in particular from Julian Verriquier, founder of Name Audio, a successful maker of audio equipment, Brompton raised enough money to tool up and get started with manufacture proper. The first production bikes appeared out of a railway arch in Brentford at the beginning of 1988. Since then, the order book has been full, and the company has grown steadily and successfully, with around 2/3 of sales going abroad. Inevitably more and more space has been needed, and there have so far been 3 moves. First taking over a neighboring railway arch, then moving to larger premises in Chiswick at the end of 1993, and in 1998, into a spacious factory, once again back in Brentford. Finally, Andrew was able to pay people back by 1993. So it did work, but it took a while. In 1995 Brompton received a Queen's Award for exports. Brompton makes super light option folded bikes with fork and rear triangle made from titanium to shave weight in 2005. In 2008 Will Butler Adams took over from Andrew Ritchie as MD. Will's main goal being to create a modern and highly efficient production facility in West London so as to meet the growing demand. More recently, in October 2009, Andrew Ritchie was honoured by the Duke of Edinburgh and awarded the Prince Philip Designers Award. In August 2017, the company introduced a version of electric bicycle or pedelec. It's a quite long story, but in recent years, the company has seen rapid expansion worldwide. There is 44 countries with stores right across the world in London, New York, Amsterdam, Beijing, Tokyo, Barcelona, and more. Brompton sold 48,956 folding bikes during the year to March 2019, compared to 45,410 units during the previous financial year. This resulted in an 18% increase in sales to British pounds 42.5 million. Every Brompton is handmade in their London factory by skilled craftsmen who have undergone an intensive 18-month training program, and each have a unique signature which they stamp on the parts of the bike they work on. This culture of accountability shows Brompton's commitment to quality and helps to ensure that every bike that leaves their factory is built to the highest possible standard. In the UK, the trains are small, so the bike must fold small. Bringing it on or off a busy crowded train means it must fold or unfold quickly and easily. And, since riding in London is scary at the best of times, it must ride stable and true. To this day, Brompton is the only company that packages all 3 features into one bike without compromise. Brompton is a teensy 28x60x60 centimeters, 3.56 cubic feet. That means it's great for traveling, walking around with, and storing, whether in an airplane hold or under your desk. From Andrew's story, we can conclude that to be successful it's never easy. He said that it was a hurdle time to build Brompton at first. But he doesn't give up and always tries. May this video will encourage you. If you liked this video please give it thumbs and share. Thank you for watching.